Hi guys, FrostFangs here, and welcome back once again to another Paladins video. Now today we're on the PTS, public test server, which you can obviously go ahead and try yourself by just googling Paladins PTS, and you can try out all the new stuff early, unless you're on consoles, in which case I don't think it's available, although it might be and maybe I just don't know about it. But we're on PC, we're on the PTS for 1.6, and this is one hell of a patch. In my opinion, hi-rez have really outdone themselves, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. They have done a fantastic job with this patch. 1.5 was a little bit iffy. They didn't really change all that much, and they broke quite a few things, and they seem to be repairing all of those broken things in 1.6 and adding a hell of a lot of stuff. I'm going to try and go through a decent amount of it in this video, though obviously I'm not going to be able to get to all of it. The most important part, I suppose, is the new character, Dredge. This is with his legendary skin. You've probably seen him already. He was teased for quite a long while before he released. I'll go through his kit in a little bit. We're going to jump into playing him on the practice arena part in a little bit, but I want to get through some of the other stuff first, because there's quite a few balance changes. There's obviously all the new skins. Fucking mad shoutouts to hi-rez for making a Talus skin. Finally, it's a Halloween one. Quite a goofy character. I think it fits his personality pretty damn well, especially all of the weird mental eyes. I really like this skin. There's a couple others. There's a new event, the Dark Tides event, similar to other ones we've had in the past. You have a Ying skin, really, really cool. You have a Nando skin, really, really cool. You have a Vivian skin, which personally I don't like as much as I like the others, but that's just because the bar, for me at least, was set very, very high. There's the Victor skin, which makes him a wolf. Pretty damn badass. I wish they'd done a little bit more with the weapon, but my god, this skin looks really, really cool either way. You also get a pretty damn sexy border, and then they have the same system that they had with the last one, where you access a vault. There's a new Inara skin, pretty damn terrifying. I really, really like this one. It's really scary. The wall specifically is pretty damn terrifying. You can also, if you want, get this set of items instead of getting the Inara one if you don't like it that much. You can also get the Demonette Meave, the Archangel, and the Andro one of the four. I don't know if the vault keys roll over if you didn't pick one in the last set, but if they do, then I guess you could technically pick more than one of those four. But not only do you get these, you also get the option to have recolored versions of them. I say recolor, but they're honestly more than recolors. They're one hell of a change to the skin. So this is the alternate version of the Ying one. Looks fantastic. This is the alternate version of the Nando one, which I fucking love. This is fantastic. And there's the alternate version of the Vivian one, which is called Contessa, which sounds rude when it's not meant to be. You can also get these other things, and if you're wondering how you get these, there's a coin system, and I'll explain that in a little bit because that's quite complicated. You can also get gold and stuff if you want. There's all these other things. I'm really happy that this is available because I've wanted this for a while. There's a couple other things, a freaking spray and a stamp and all that good stuff. But if you were waiting on some new stuff from Evil Mojo / hi-rez, this is for sure the bloody patch for you. There's also a Talus skin, which as far as I know you get in a chest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in this little box of horrors. It's in here as far as I know. It's quite far down. I don't know why it's not right at the top, but there it is. I really, really like this. Think that's very, very cool. There's also another one which they didn't show off on the patch notes because I'm pretty sure they either didn't mean to put this in or they wanted to do it kind of sneakily, because somebody called me out on Twitter and was like, hey Spencer, you need to check this out. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but here it is. So shout out to Miglen Yordanov. I don't know if that's how you say your name. I apologize if I just completely butchered it, but shout outs to you. He was the one who DM'd me on Twitter. Was like, yo dude, you need to check this out. So there's a Koga skin in here, in this chest, and they didn't talk about it whatsoever, but here it is. I don't know if anybody else on the internet has like covered this yet. I'm guessing they have by the time you see this video, but new Koga skin. Really, really fucking like it. It reminds me of a game that I can't remember the bloody name of right now, and it's annoying the hell out of me, but it looks a hell of a lot like that, and if you know what it is, you'll very clearly get the reference. Super cool. I can't remember the name, and it's absolutely killing me, but the weapon looks fantastic. I really like the skin as well. So that's all the cosmetic stuff. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the shooting range just to go ahead and show you some Dredge, because he's a very, very cool character. He's got a bunch of different pieces from different characters that are already in Paladins and a bunch of new stuff as well. There's also a new map that's coming in 1.6, and with that there's also going to be a new system, which is how you earn those coins that I mentioned earlier. So randomly, and according to them, they have quite a small chance of appearing, but you'll have a boss fight in the middle of the map occasionally on rounds where you fight one of those four new skinned characters. So either Vivian, I think Victor's a little bit more rare, Nando, or Ying. You can fight those like big versions of them that have more health, and if you kill them you get a token, and Victor drops the rarer token. So that's a thing, I guess. I haven't really had a chance to test it because I haven't really been able to play the PTS, but I'll do more videos on this, I'm sure, in the future. I wasn't even expecting them to have it up this soon, honestly. I didn't think the PTS would be up this soon. I thought it was going to take a good while before it went live, but they just went ahead and chucked that basically the same day the patch notes went live. If you want to see me do more videos on the PTS, just drop a like on the video, let me know in the comments. So he has 4 legendary cards. I know I haven't gone over his kit yet, but the legendary cards don't change anything too crazily. Skull just makes your reload projectile explode, so it's very similar to the Damba Snake that you get when you reload, except this makes it explode in the range, so I guess you can can hit multiple people with it, and it's a bit easier to land. Allies may pass through a shortcut. That doesn't make much sense if you don't know what he does. Harpoon has no cooldown and no longer slows, so he has an ability that slows people and usually has a cooldown. This gets rid of that, which is kind of crazy. This is one of the most ridiculous ones, if you ask me. If I sound ill, I apologize. I'm still a little bit sick. I've repaired myself quite a bit, but I'm still a little bit ill. My hype is overrunning my illness. So Abyss Spike. Harpoon now lodges into the terrain and explodes for 1,000. So this makes that harpoon, instead of, you know, going through enemies a bit like a Lian Q, it now acts like a projectile. It can still go through people, but now it sticks on walls and acts like a bit of a Vivian mine that can blow up, kind of is how I'd describe that. So we'll go for Hurl. His default loadout's okay. I definitely wouldn't recommend this because you can definitely make something better. This is just one I've made up very quickly without even trying him in a game, but it seems to make sense. It's basically a free Wrecker tier 3, and then buffing the slow from 50 to 75, heal on it, ammo regen, and a little bit of a shield. So this is his weapon. It's kind of ridiculous. Damba is no longer the only person who has like a little familiar as his weapon. I guess Moji technically has an animal too, but it's a little bit different. So he plays basically like every other grenade class in any other game you may have played. So he shoots grenades. This is the legendary skin you get for getting to level 50 because you have unlimited currency on the PTS. So I thought I'd show you like the recolored version if you played him a ton. So they're just kind of grenades, except they always bounce to the same height, which is a very nice touch. And they mention it on the PTS show, saying that it's kind of annoying when they're unpredictable, and they've made it a hell of a lot more predictable. So basically, no matter what range you kind of shoot it, it'll always touch the ground and then bounce a little bit. I guess if it has collision on something else, it might be a bit weird, but you can see it always kind of bounces to like eye level height. No matter how high in the air you fire it, it always kind of bounces back the same sort of way. Now, the reload thing I was talking about, where you hit reload, he does a little animation then, and he shoots a little thing out that deals 1,000 damage. So Dredge is a damage character, so basically everything about him is completely oriented around damage. You have these things which deal, I think, like 850. Yeah, the range drop off is kind of fast, but you know, they still deal a pretty good amount of damage. You can easily get rid of squishies. If I had to bet money, I would bet that Dredge is going to be nerfed pretty heavily in the upcoming patches, just like Fury was nerfed. There's also been a couple other balance things which I'll go on about like towards the end of this video, but I'm pretty sure Dredge is going to have the same treatment as Fury, where he gets nerfed a decent amount. That's just my personal guess, but those are the basic attacks. You have your alternate fire, which does use the same ammo. It doesn't have a cooldown because it just uses your ammo counter, so it's the same as your normal attacks, except you deal more damage with them, and they have like a bit of a wind-up time. I'll just go ahead and read the description. It's going to be a way better explanation. So your basic attacks: every 0.7, fire an explosive that deals 800 damage. Reloading fires a slow-traveling projectile that deals 1,000. So it travels a lot slower. You can't fire it as far. Legendary card helps out with that a little bit. And then the right-click is fire 3 projectiles that each deal a little bit more damage, an extra 150, but they have a 2-second fuse. So just a different way of using his attack. So you can spread them out like that, and then it's kind of cool. I like it. I really think Dredge is one hell of a cool character. I don't think I've been as excited for a character and a patch to actually go into the live version of Paladins for a very long time. I feel like 1.6 with Dredge is going to be absolutely crazy. He has his F, which is the part that I'm probably going to mess up a lot. It's a bit like a Talus F, but significantly different, really. So you deploy up to 2 portals that you can travel between. The legendary card lets your friendlies go through it too. So if I hit my F, I kind of leave that there. Hit F again, and then if I walk in here, then it will teleport me over there, and you do get a little bit of immunity, and it does go on like a 10-second cooldown when you do the teleport, which it doesn't say there. It just says 1, which is a little bit weird. But basically, it's a teleporter. It's a little bit complicated, but it's pretty straightforward. So it just basically lets you jump to a different part of the map when you need to. I'm going to mess this up a ton in live. I guarantee I'm going to use this the incorrect way, but it's cool. It's pretty damn unique. No one else in Paladins has something like that, so there you go. You have the Q, which is the most interesting part for me, because he has basic attacks that deal a ton. He has an alternate fire that deals a ton. He has a reload that deals a ton, and then on top of that, he has a Q, which deals a ton. So it's a harpoon. Deals 800. It's kind of crazy. She seems to still get slowed, even though I picked the legendary card that's meant to remove that. She still seems to get slowed, but there you go. This is what it's like with no cooldown. You may think that's ridiculous, but keep in mind you can also do basic attacks. This is even more crazy than you may have originally thought. That's kind of crazy, just doing that. You're very slow when I'm doing that combo, but that still seems crazy because I'm just doing basic attack, throw, basic attack, throw. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. I feel like that's possibly the burstiest you can be in Paladins. That's like 3,000 damage a second. That's incredible. So that's the harpoon, and basically if you don't pick the legendary card that I picked, it will slow instead. So there you go. It's 800 damage. It goes through people, so you can hit multiple people with it, and they're slowed usually for 50%. With the loadout I made, it's a 75% slow, which is even more crazy. But if I throw it here, There you go, we can go through both of them. I can just see this being absolutely ridiculous. He is going to be an absolute tank shredder because even on like a Sky, I feel like I'm mauling her in like 1 second. I do basic Q, and then she's kind of gone, although I missed a bunch of my basic attacks. He's going to take a little bit of a... He's going to take a little while to learn, that's for sure, because there's no other character like him in Paladins right now, so he's going to take me a little while before I'm even decent with him, but I feel like the people who are good with Dredge are going to absolutely demolish, and he does have a pretty high skill ceiling, but he also has a pretty low barrier to entry. He isn't that difficult to play, but he'll definitely take a couple games. It's mainly just because of the drop off and then the Q being straightforward and then that also being a little bit different. He's got a lot of different levels to him and they're all kind of confusing and there's a lot going on, but I like it. Like I said, one of my favorite characters to beat in Paladins in a good while. Now his ultimate, Kraken. Create a rift after 2 seconds, abyssal tentacle rips through reality, dealing 4,000 damage in an area. So this works in a bit of a confusing way. So it is basically just an imaginary projectile because you can't stop it, but it goes basically wherever your mouse is pointing. So if I point it up there, it'll spawn like a little circle up there and do the little explosion and deal 4,000 damage. Whereas if I'm all the way here, okay, so say the point's there in the middle there and I want to go ahead and cast it on the point. Instead of doing it like this and throwing it at like a certain distance, doing it like that would basically just send it to the other side of the map and get me a triple kill, which is good in this scenario. But if you're trying to do it on a point, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. The one thing I don't know, because they didn't talk about it on the patch notes, is if it'll trigger collision on people. I guess I can kind of test that now. If I just stand here, will this stop on the Sky? No, it goes straight through. So if you do want to do it on a point, you're going to have to point it at the ground. So you really do benefit from having the high ground. You do with most characters in Paladins, but with Dredge specifically, you want to be above people so you can land your nades easily because, you know, these have like little detonations and stuff, which makes way more sense to be above them. This goes downwards. Basically, all of his stuff has drop and his Q, you know, pierces through people and it can also stick on the ground with a certain legendary card. So it makes a lot of sense to be above people, but also with this, because you're going to want to try and cast it in a specific space, it makes sense to be slightly above. I don't really know how to describe it. Dredge is very, very complicated in a way that I feel like I could only really describe how to play him if I was sitting in a room with you. I don't feel like I can do it properly over a video, and I feel like the only real way you'll get a grasp of how he is to play is by actually trying him out yourself. I honestly recommend you try out the PTS because it's absolutely ridiculous. There's so much new stuff in this patch. I absolutely love it. I'll be doing more videos on this, I'm sure. Hopefully I feel better soon so I can have a little bit more energy and not have a terrible voice and stuff. I'm just going to hope I haven't missed too much out in this video because I tried to cover everything as much as I possibly could, but there's no way I remember all of it. So I'm going to look at the patch notes real quick because there's a lot of champion balance that happened, but I'm going to describe it pretty damn quickly. So Andro got his Defiant Fist legendary card buffed. I remembered it that much, and I think they also calibrated the actual range on his punch a little bit, so it's a bit of a buff to Andro overall. I think Ash got a buff on her right click, 150 extra damage on it, which is a 50% damage buff on her right click, which is fine by me. Fira got nerfed pretty heavily. Her weapon now deals reduced damage at a range, and her cooldown of her right click was increased from 4 to 5 seconds. I don't really feel like that's going to make Furia necessarily at the bottom of healers on like a tier list, but she's definitely been pulled down a little bit because she was definitely overperforming, in my opinion at least. I saw Furia picked or banned in basically every single ranked game I played in a good little while, so I feel like it maybe makes sense that they nerfed her. I might be a little bit too much. Maybe they'll pull her up again later, but I feel like it makes sense. Koga got both a buff and a nerf. He got his claws buffed because they fire for a longer range, but then he also went ahead and got the legendary card that makes his shots not cost ammo nerfed pretty damn heavily. Lex got a change that I'm really happy to see, that I think should have been changed a long time ago. It's described as reduced accuracy loss per shot. Basically, if you play Lex, like I've played Lex a decent amount, once you get past like the second or third shot, your accuracy just goes from being like this accurate to being like absolutely stupid, and you have to be like right in somebody's face to be able to hit them. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a significant amount different because Lex is definitely going to be a lot more playable, and I'm going to play him a hell of a lot more if they have indeed changed it an appropriate amount, because it was absolutely crazy before and you had to really get super close to people to actually significantly be able to land your shots without too much trouble. Damber got a little bit of a buff. His gourd went from 280 a second to 300. I feel like that's perfectly fine. And Talus got a pretty damn significant buff. So his weapon now has increased range. That's the thing that I was asking for absolutely ages. They've actually done it, so that's fantastic. And they also reduced the knockback on his ult. So now you should be able to do the combo where you punch them, get a couple shots, and then land the second punch, which is a thing that you didn't used to be able to do because the knockback on it was a little bit too crazy. So buffs for a lot of characters, nerfs for a couple that I feel like needed it. Overall, an absolute shit ton of new stuff in this patch. A new character. I was honestly quite surprised when I was watching the patch notes that there was just so much stuff. They were just like, oh, we've got more, and there's more, and there's more. There is so much stuff in 1.6, and I don't know how much of it I've been able to cover. I've tried to cover as much as I possibly could. I think I've managed to go through all the skins and the new characters stuff. Dredge is absolutely crazy. Really, really excited to have him. That's what the noble one looks like, by the way. He's got like a little bit of a purple tone to him. The recolor of him also is significantly different. I actually like this one quite a lot too. It's red and blue and it looks nice. The mastery one is obviously my favorite though, because black squid, how could you go wrong with that? So there you go. Welcome to Paladins 1.6. It's on the PTS if you want to go ahead and try it out for yourself on PC. I don't know how it works out for console. I don't know if the patch is going to be on the same time as when it goes out into live on PC. I'm honestly not sure how any of that is going to work, but I really, really like this. I'm looking forward to it. I am very much looking forward to it. I cannot wait to actually play this. I'm going to play it on the PTS, obviously, so let me know what you want to see me cover first, because there's been a bunch of changes and a bunch of skins. I guess I should do Dredge first. Honestly, I honestly don't know, but let me know what you want to see me do. I'm still a little bit sick, so it might take me a little bit longer to get to stuff, but I hope this video has been enjoyable. Like I said, let me know what you want to see me do next. Leave a like if you did enjoy. I'll see you all very, very soon, and as always, stay frosty.